Beginning October 1st, 2025, millions of Americans who rely on SNAP, also commonly called food stamps, will see an increase in their benefits. And for many households, this isn't just a minor change. It can mean hundreds of dollars more each month for groceries. Now, some of you might be scratching your heads and thinking, wait a minute, are we always hearing on the news that the government wants to cut back benefits, reduce spending, and tighten programs like SNAP? How come this time the benefits are actually going up instead of down? That's a fair question, and the answer is surprisingly simple. These benefit adjustments are tied directly to the cost of living. In the same way that Social Security adjusts each year to reflect inflation, what's known as the COLA, or cost of living adjustment, SNAP benefits are recalculated based on changes in food prices. It doesn't matter which political party is in power, whether it's Democrats or Republicans. The law requires these adjustments every year. So as food prices rise, SNAP has to go up too. Think of it like a built-in automatic gear shift. When groceries get more expensive, the system is legally required to give families a little more to help cover the gap. How much more money are we talking about? Let's get right to what everyone wants to know, the dollar figures. From October 1st, 2025, here's the new maximum monthly SNAP benefit for households in the 48 mainland states plus Washington, D.C. One-person household, $298 per month. Two-person household, $546 per month. Three-person household, $785 per month. Four-person household, $994 per month. Five-person household, $1,183 per month. Six-person household, $1,421 per month. Seven-person household, $1,571 per month. Eight-person household, $1,789 per month. And if you have more than 8 people in your household, you can tack on an additional $218 per extra person. But that's just for the continental U.S. In places where the cost of living is much higher, the benefit amounts are even larger. Let's look at some examples. Alaska, for a family of 4, the maximum SNAP benefit can range from $1,285 to $1,995 per month, depending on whether you live in an urban area like Anchorage or a rural village where food prices are much higher. Guam, a family of 4 can receive up to $1,465. U.S. Virgin Islands, a family of 4 can receive up to $1,278. Hawaii, here's a surprise. Benefits for a family of 4 will actually decrease slightly to $1,689 because food price measurements in Hawaii went down during the calculation period. Even the minimum benefit has gone up. In the lower 48 states, even if your situation only qualifies you for the very bottom, you'll still get at least $24 per month, which is a bump compared to the past. What about eligibility? Did they make it harder or easier to qualify? Here's the really good news. Not only are the benefit amounts going up, but the eligibility rules have loosened a bit. This means that if you or your family didn't quite qualify before, maybe you were just a little over the limit, you might now be able to get SNAP. To understand this, you need to know about the 3 income lines that SNAP uses. Net income limit, 100% of the federal poverty level. This is the strictest line. It looks at your income after deducting certain expenses. For a one-person household, net income must be below $1,305 per month. For a 4-person household, net income must be below $2,680 per month. Gross income limit, 130% of the federal poverty level. This is the first line most families look at, since it's based on income before deductions. For a 1-person household, gross income must be below $1,696 per month. For a 4-person household, gross income must be below $3,483 per month. In high-cost states like Alaska or Hawaii, this limit is even higher. For example, in Alaska, it's $4,354 for a family of 4. Special gross income limit, 165% of the federal poverty level. This higher line is for households with seniors, age 60 plus, or disabled members. For a 1-person household, income must be below $2,152 per month. For a 4-person household, income must be below $4,421 per month. Because all three of these lines are being raised, thousands of families who were once just a little too rich to qualify will now be eligible. If you ever applied before and got denied because your income was slightly over the limit, October 1st may be the time to try again. Deductions, making it easier to qualify. Another important piece, the government allows certain deductions when calculating your eligibility. These deductions reduce your counted income, making it easier to fall under the income limits. And just like the benefit amounts, these deductions are also being adjusted upward. For example, standard deduction. For households of 1 to 3 people in the mainland states, you can now deduct $209 each month automatically, no matter what. Housing deduction cap. This is one of the most significant deductions. You can deduct up to $744 for things like rent, mortgage, utilities, heating, and so on. Even people who are homeless now get a higher allowance of $198.99. However, there's one rule that hasn't changed, the asset limit. For most households, cash and savings can't exceed $3,000. For households with seniors or disabled members, the limit is $4,500. If you go over that, you won't qualify, even if your income is low. What does this really mean for families? Let's make this practical. Imagine a family of 4 living in Texas, New York, or California. With a new maximum of $994 per month, that money might cover the basics: bread, rice, pasta, eggs, some chicken, vegetables, and fruit. But if you want to add in organic milk, fresh beef, or specialty fruits for growing children, you'll still have to be careful and budget wisely. That said, the increase might mean you can now buy a few extra gallons of milk, some fresh cuts of meat, or extra produce each month. In other words, it's not going to make life luxurious, but it can take away that end-of-the-month stress when the fridge starts to look a little too empty. What should you do next? If you think you might qualify for SNAP under the new rules, here are some practical steps to take. Reevaluate your eligibility. Gather your recent pay stubs, rent statements, and utility bills. Compare them with the new income limits and deductions. Prepare your documents. You'll need identification, proof of income, proof of address, and records of housing and utility expenses. Submit an application. You can apply online through your state's public assistance website, or you can visit your local office in person. If the process feels overwhelming, reach out to a local community organization or food bank for help. Many have staff or volunteers who can walk you through it. Report changes quickly. If you already receive SNAP, remember to report any major changes in income. Generally, if your monthly income changes by more than $125, you must notify your SNAP office. Let's summarize the key points. SNAP benefits are going up. Starting October 1st, 2025, the maximum benefit for most states will rise, up to $298 for individuals and $994 for a family of 4. In Alaska, it can go as high as $1,995. Income limits are more generous. All 3 income lines, net, gross, and special, are being raised, making more families eligible. Deductions like housing costs are also higher. Asset limits remain the same. Households can't have more than $3,000 in savings or $4,500 with seniors/disabled if they want to qualify. For many families struggling with the rising cost of groceries, this adjustment is truly a lifeline. It won't solve every financial problem, but it can make a real difference, easing the burden month after month. I made this detailed explanation because I know government programs can be confusing. The forms, the limits, the fine print, it can all feel overwhelming. My hope is that by breaking down the numbers in plain English, you now feel empowered to check your eligibility and apply if you qualify. If this information was helpful to you, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. I'll continue keeping you updated on important changes to benefits and social programs that affect seniors and families across the country. Thank you for watching or reading, and I'll see you in the next update.